is where the fun begins.
Hello, welcome to the Council. We begin tonight's meeting of the Council by calling the Council to order. Hello to everyone and thank you for joining us. The Council is a live Twitch talk show and podcast discussing Star Wars: The Old Republic. I am Elise, and with me are my fellow Council members. Redna?
Hello!
What on earth?
Happy Halloween!
Okay.
You're a little late.
I see you need to shave. Oh, goodness.
Magic Ace?
Hi, I'm sorry. That was such a dorky thing. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And Sakari.
Hello. I'm just gonna say hi, everybody. Good to have you here.
Today we're going to be talking about, of course, 6.0, otherwise known as the Onslaught expansion.
I have some other choice names for it, but I will hold those back. And after our live broadcast, you can find our recorded episodes anywhere podcasts are found, like our YouTube channel. You can also check us out on our social medias, like Twitch or Twitter, which is at the Council SWTOR. We also have YouTube. I said YouTube. I meant our own page, which is www.thecouncilswtor.com. I know. I said it twice for good measure because it's such a great platform. We also have Patreon, which is patreon.com/councilswtor. But wait, there's more. If you find any search engine and type us in, our faces will greet you. They may not always look pretty, but they are there.
Yes. Or in Redness' case, you just put a mask on, right? Who cares about our faces? I mean, we'll just...
Yikes.
Darth
Hey,
Dog.
listen, a mask improves this face anytime.
I'm going to give that a solid no comment.
I say, it
No
looks to me, Redna, like you need to tweeze something. Something's growing out of...
Waxing.
Yeah, something's a little out of whack there. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. It's been 2 weeks since we last met. We are talking about some good expansion stuff tonight, so I can't wait to get into things. Speaking of getting into things, the icebreaker, as we have done in previous episodes, just a way to get chat going. The question of the night, I kind of kept things super simple for everybody. Magic Case, we'll start with you. As if you're going to say no to this. Did you get a chance to play any of the expansion?
Just to make sure to be clear, it just says, did you get a chance to play any of the expansion?
Yes, I know. And no, it says no spoilers in the title. I'm well aware. Okay,
yes.
I'm well aware.
This is a spoiler-free episode, everybody. So
garbage. Okay.
We'll
did
do
I
a
get
spoiler
chance to play
episode.
any of it? Yes.
In a
I
month.
played all of it from every point of view I could, other than like romanceable play, because trying to get my Sentinel up to that point might make me go brain dead. I can't play that much Republic. I can't.
Right.
So, yes, I played plenty of the expansion. I played from SWTOR and Loyalist on both sides. I have to say, I am, as I might have mentioned, like a timer 50. Pure Imperial here. I hate playing Bub side. But it was kind of intriguing playing the SWTOR on both sides. I enjoyed that. That was the only real, like, part of the stories that I actually legitimately enjoyed. Without spoiling it, when the certain companions come back, the part where they start to introduce, like, the part that leads you to the cliffhanger, I was like, ooh, finally started adjusting in my seat. I'm like, here we go. I'm moving my lumbar support and I'm ready. I'm like, oh, it's going to be good. And then it's like, here, credits.
It's
I'm
over.
Like, oh!
Roll the
I was like,
credits.
that was it, 30 minutes? Why? It's like, why did you do this to me? I pay for this every month, and this is what I got? I get credits? Oh, I was not really thrilled about that. I finally was, like, ready to go. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel because they're bringing this person up again. Is this another Kefis the Undying or another Revan? But hey, that's fine. You know, I'll pay attention. And then it's credits. Scroll. I'm like, so yes, I have got to play the new expansion.
I'm willing to bet you're probably out of all of us, you're the one that's played it the most.
Yes,
likely.
because it's the fastest way to level, and I have mini tubes I have
is.
to get ready for groups, and I have unpleasant things to say that I will say for other questions.
Yeah, you have your work cut out for you getting these people. That's for sure.
I have my
My
work cut out for
goodness.
me not running my mouth all the time about this. But please, next.
I suspect you're going to have some things to share in this episode as well. Elise, have you been able to play it all?
I have. I went through on pub side only
Okay,
so far.
awesome.
Pub side.
So did you
only.
play SWTOR or did you play? I mean, I guess hard to kind of tell, but
Were you
like,
a subversive or were you a
Nope.
loyalist?
Yep. Although I'm dark side 2
interesting. So
on my
yeah.
pub tune that I went through on. I think I'm.
So if you're
2
dark side,
or
did
3?
you play SWTOR? Or were
Nope.
you played loyalist as a dark sider?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, why not?
My
I'm
head
so
my head
proud of you,
canon
Elise.
is that I'm there to make stuff happen on the pub side. That is her opinion.
So I love role playing characters like that. It's to me it adds a
She's
lot more fun.
there to do the difficult stuff that those wishy-washy light side 5 ones just won't do.
And this is what character that you took through?
This has
My
got to be a
shadow.
sage. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
my shadow.
Shadow.
So
That's exactly how
is
I
it
play
I'm
my
a
shadow
girl?
too. By the way,
yeah.
my shadow is
kind of
straight
fits,
up
right?
like, "Are you kidding me? I'm not going to risk the lives of other people. I'm just going to go out there and kill people."
I couldn't stand playing the light side counselor for the longest time. I finally made a shadow and she was dark side. That was the only way that made that story palatable. So playing
No, it's
through
true. And Dark Side Consular is actually very good. It's
it
much
was. I actually enjoyed that. And I played light side through the second time. I was like, ugh.
That was actually I was
It's very
light side
disgusting.
5 on my
Very
very first
disgusting.
character. Sage, healer,
Ew.
light
My
side
first character
5.
is still my main rating too, or at least it was until Swerve got.
I told Andronica or whatever, not Andronica. What's his face? Who's the love interest of the?
Felix Ereso.
Yes, I told him I'm sorry. I can't.
Dude, he's like the
can't
Mary
do
Jane.
it.
How could you
of
do that?
Yeah.
How could
I was
you
a light side 5 Jedi. With
But-
the Jedi don't do that.
You don't
So,
romance as a Jedi.
that's
Dude,
right.
but
Remember,
his
you're
story
supposed to.
coming back though is heartbreaker. Like
You're like, you. What's your name again? The guy I married. What's your name again? Oh yeah, you. You're so a non-memorable as a character that I had decided to just move on in your absence.
he was sweet. If you like sweet, he's memorable. If you don't like sweet, he's not memorable. Which is why I have to think about him a bit.
You like
and
some
then I
drama
remember,
in your relationship,
because I like
man.
a little. Just little.
I'll just
This-
add the reason why I haven't done Imperial side is because Outer Worlds came out.
Oh, so you've
3
been
days
distracted
after.
otherwise. Yeah, no kidding.
I've been
So
waiting for a year and a half. So like I was like number 2, the difficulty is harder, and
It is?
the next most leveled character that I have that has done the story up to this point is a tank, and I absolutely hate playing tank. So
Respect, hatred.
I am just dreading going through on my tank.
You can
through
still
the
get
story
tank gear.
because
Just
it's not the
respect.
gear, it's just the amount
just-
of time it takes to do everything. It's
Yeah.
just
I know.
times longer. So
This is why my Sentinel will
Just
probably
like-
never get through the content ever.
I'm just kind of like I have to get myself mentally to that point, but that is also my
Well, set your
bounty
companion to DPS.
So
That's. I
I-
mean, if you granted some of
do.
the tougher
Or
fights,
level
you
as
need to be.
DPS and switch it to tank when you get
I
high.
mean, it's
Yeah.
still way harder, and I'm so much faster on my stealthing shadow, of course. So
It's like leveling as a healer. That stuff is awful.
Yeah,
just don't do it. Just
I have the incentive to do it because I know that there is, redacted content that has to do with redacted. So I need to do it. However, I'm just kind of having to get myself to that point, and I've been consoling myself with Outer Worlds. Okay, so there you go.
fair enough. Redna, have you had any chance to play this new expansion, sir?
Yes.
And have you played what?
Yes.
SWTOR. Come on, man, give us some details. I know he's.
I played some of the expansion content. That does not mean that I played any of the story.
See, I knew.
It doesn't say content,
knew.
though. Okay, it just says.
I'm gonna have to get a lawyer to start looking over
We
these
finally
questions.
have an expansion that gives me playable content that isn't spacebar cinematics. I'm playing some of that instead. Also, figuring out the gear and stuff. Pro
no
tip,
kidding.
anyone, if you're wondering and you did the light side, dark side event and they said, oh, it's in your legendary stash. It turns out That's a made-up word that has absolutely nothing to do with what's in game. It's in your legendary cargo hold. Go and get it. 3 boxes.
Also,
Legacy
Word.
legacy
This
cargo.
fact.
This is a
I
true
have
3
fact.
hours looking for that crap and searching the internet trying to figure out where the heck it was at. Because I could not
I
find the
literally-
stupid legendary stash they talk about.
I
Legendary,
literally
but it's
claimed it
legacy.
on one tune and put it
Or
in my legacy thing.
sorry.
By the way, I have 2 sets now because it gave me back the one that they took the set bonus off and took my armorines out, and then it gave me a new one without any mods and
Yeah,
enhancements.
so they gave you a new one,
I
but the
have-
other one is worthless. They made the other one worthless. So it's not like you have 2. You really have only one
No,
and a worthless
it's not worthless. It's just you have to do everything to it because
because the
I-
set
I
bonuses
leveled
is
to-
the extra XP, right?
I leveled with both of them on, and I got relatively the same XP. One of them I got slightly more, and that's the one that they gave in the crate. But the one that they messed with still gives you XP, but for some reason it's broken. It doesn't give you the correct XP boost. So,
Okay.
and I have the
Oh,
full set because I did
surprise,
every
surprise.
possible freaking thing in the DVL event. So,
See, I sent
Yeah, I
mine
got
to
it all too. I wasn't
Starforge, and
about
I
to
have
start
no
getting jacked
idea.
without-
I haven't been on Starforge yet, so I have no idea. I sent the set with all the stuff, I didn't do anything to it, over to Starforge with my transferred character. So
Right.
that's the original set is over there, and I haven't logged in over there to look at it or any of that stuff. So
Yeah, but you
And
got
now
it
I can send one there.
in your new ones, in your
Yeah.
on the old server. As long
It's-
actually,
Yeah,
you should have it on every server.
I have
that
the
you
3
can.
boxes. Kirk had to tell me where they were because I had
Yes,
no idea where
see?
they were.
Thank
I
you.
accidentally
Yeah,
Because they got
find them.
clever in their notes. Yeah, just check your legendary stash. Dude, effing douchebag. Refer to it for what it is. Don't, especially when you're adding all of these new like crafting bags and
This
all
is
this new
me
stuff.
every
Red,
time someone
Red is pretty mad about this one.
I was
This is
really,
me
I-
every
I'm
time
not
someone
kidding.
says, "Do
3
you want to do
hours
a
I
master
wasted.
mode flashpoint?" I'm like, "No, I want to do
And
a
I think it
hard
was
mode
actually-
flashpoint."
I think it was
Thanks.
actually Kirk that I finally went back onto Twitter for launch day, and I think it was Kirk had put up a screenshot, and I'm staring at it. I'm like, that's a box. That's the name of the box. Where could it be? And then finally I looked at the replies, and somebody's like, dude, that's awesome. Where is it? And he's like, oh, it's in your legendary your legacy cargo hold. That's all I'm saying.
Mine wasn't though. Mine
They
was
should have just
in
mailed
a-
it to you. Goodness me.
Mine was in a stash. One of my character stash. I think is actually in all the character stash, but whatever character you claim it on, you have to put it in the legacy bank.
Oh,
So like
because
I
it's
had
okay.
to
So
actually claim it out of my stash, like my legacy stash, like the renowned stash now or whatever it is. Like I had to claim the 3 boxes out of that, and then I put it in my legacy bank. That's how it worked for me.
Oh,
I didn't do that because I didn't have
Yeah,
anything in
it
there.
was just in my legacy cargo hold.
yeah,
Because I
'cause
was
I
like,
do have like pages and pages of stuff in that whatever that stash is because I thought that was the legacy stash and I had to go through and look at every single one and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not here. Where the hell is this crap? Because that's the
I
only
had
thing
to
that's called a
claim it.
stash in the game.
Yeah.
Legacy?
I have other complaints about that, but that's for later. So
for later. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So let me say real quickly, I played through exactly one time on one character because there's only one character that was actually all the way toward end game. And I looked on other characters and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to actually like push through other parts of story to get to where I'm even ready to do this. And there's actually a stack of stuff. I mean, in between Cotet and this new content, there's a lot of things there. So I was like, great, I got to push through all this stuff. Let me just do it on the one. So I played an Imperial Loyalist because I know Liber Oha would never forgive me if I did anything other than that. Right? If I do anything other than Imperial, she gives me a real hard time about things. So
well, I mean, to be fair though, you painted yourself as the poster boy
I
of
might-
both of the
I might
Imperial,
have.
so you kind of set
You're
yourself up for
supposed
that.
to be the emperor.
I might have. Okay, dang
Word.
it. Well,
Word.
I ran for the Emperor. I don't know if it worked.
Make the Empire great again.
Hey, it's back. It
Wait,
is
so
back.
Okay.
Mega?
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I totally
Mega.
want a purple hat with Mega on it.
Anyway, so that was me.
Hard
That
pass.
was what I did. So, okay, we're going to get into it. Again, Icebreaker is just to get us into talking about it. We do not have a poll scheduled for tonight. So, into the deliberation section we go. We have a plethora of different things to discuss tonight. I don't know if we should do this in terms of categories. Is that an approach you
I
guys
just
want to
want
do?
your rant first. I've been looking forward to this all day since you mentioned
See, Myron, this is actually the
I would
no,
like to vote, please, for categories.
categories.
Yeah.
Let's do categories. Okay.
It keeps us from trailing all over the place, like we might have a tendency to do.
All right. So okay, let's start with story first. Without spoilers, this is gonna be the challenge. And then obviously Magic
the
Ace
one to do without spoilers.
Ooh, eardrop. But
Nope, I tried to unmute my mic and I clicked the wrong button. My bad. Technical difficulties being as buttons are hard.
Now Redna tried it.
I can do that too.
I can tell by the way it's moving around who's doing what. That's hilarious. Oh goodness. So the community by and large says this thing was too short. There's just not enough content there for the amount of time that we have been waiting for this. You guys have anything to say to that?
I have rated our words for this.
I would say since the game came out, no one's ever been happy with the length of the story that came out in any expansion or content release ever. And they always ask for more, and they're never happy with the results, which is why I'm not looking forward to playing it and haven't tried.
Coffee and Kotet I thought were almost too long.
I would agree with you on that, Sakari. I agree. And
there is a sweet spot, I think.
Was ridiculously
long.
Yeah,
the Eternal Throne were like 2 hours a piece just of just the chapter, you know.
Yeah, I mean it was long, and if you're used to like playing and then go and put laundry in or dealing with your kids, which I am, I'm sure Magic Ace is the same.
It'll take a day to
do. Just like every single minute of every single day.
Right. So with those instance chapters, if you were gone too long or there was the thing kicked you out or whatever, you had to restart it again. They had better not ever do that again, ever.
Yeah.
I think it was too long, but I mean too short. I have to agree. However, I am not ranting about it because I don't know what other content they're releasing since there's supposedly supposed to be an 18-month long rollout for
18-month-old out. Whoa.
Okay.
So I don't
tell
know.
Us,
yeah,
my daughter's not that old.
That ship has sailed. Anyway, so I'm kind of waiting to see, but making us wait for almost 3 years for a real story that wasn't bite-sized. I guess I kind of expected it to be longer than that.
So let me say this. Okay, an observation I may have. I played through again only on one character. It was on my assassin, and obviously Imperial Loyalist. So, and there was a lot in her story where it harkened back to her history, right? She had, certain things choices that she'd made, things that she'd done, whatever, and it became relevant. And I was playing this, I was like, they can't do this with
specific.
Class specific.
Okay.
Conversations she has, or things that come up, decisions she gets to make because she is that class that no other class would have played that story, so they don't have the background and they couldn't do. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is shorter because there's so much more breadth in terms of class that you play through, and they all have their own specifics and their own decision trees and their own histories, and you meet certain returning characters in this that as my class didn't know. I'm not spoiling anything, right? But I imagine that if I had the class that they were pertinent to, then there'd be a whole history there, all extra conversation choices that I wouldn't have had.
There could be all the kissy face mumbo jumbo. Oh my gosh, I miss you. I've just been away for so long, even though you were, leaving the galaxy and your face was literally everywhere in another empire. It took me forever to come back to you. Welcome home, baby.
So Magic, since you're the one who seems to have played this the most in the most different ways, did you experience some of that breadth in like the way that for each class there were specific things? Did you see any of that when you played through?
No, because I might be a little operative heavy in things that I play.
Okay.
And I might be kind of glued to Theron in nearly every single class. So there's no.
All right, so you've kind of limited your options. That's funny.
But I will say
Theron's
this.
dead. What are you talking about?
You know what? Shut your face, dirty man. Shut up. Anyways. It's like people who say Tornir dead. I'm like, clearly you played the wrong game because Vet's the one that's dead. Sorry. Anyways, that's a whole other story. Okay, I can't talk to you anymore. Can you mute him? Thanks. That'd be great. I can't talk to this guy anymore. Yeah. Okay. I mean, a little bit. I will say this. I think the things that I seen that were the most impactful was SWTOR and Loyalist. Those were the choices that I seen that was the most meaningful. But I did notice when I played Bounty Hunter, like this was fantastic. And if you picked Vet, then you don't get to enjoy this. So for all you people who picked Vet, this is a teeny tiny half spoiler. It's not a legit spoiler, but it's a half spoiler, and you guys ruined it if you picked Vet. Okay, you don't get to enjoy it the same way I did. Just so you know. Okay, just so you know, I'm warning you. Okay,
Well,
so
they could also take another bounty hunter that's a companion.
okay, but it's not the same. Okay, listen, Toxica on one server and Magic Ace on another server. We made the same choices because they're mirror image, except for one's human and one's Chiss, because Chiss OP. So I made the decisions the same way on both of them except for one, like I made like a couple tiny like off choices just to see what the difference was, and I enjoyed it. So if you took Torian as a bounty hunter, especially if you're married to him, guess why wouldn't you be? Hello. So I took Torian to talk to a Mandalorian, okay?
Hey,
and
spoilers.
an ex Mandalorian.
Redacted.
Yeah, hold on.
Redacted.
No, I'm not giving. There's a Mandalorian in the story. There's other people in the story too. Anyways, I took my bounty hunter to talk to this person, and he reacts to the fact that I made the choices I made. And Torian reacts to that person, and that person reacts to Torian. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I'm so excited because they didn't miss that opportunity to do that. Because
I'm glad to see that. That's awesome.
There was a connection there for bounty hunters, and I was like, yes, it's about time. I was super excited about that. But as far as like operative and Sork, and I didn't finish my jug yet.
So we
I
have
can't say anything about that. I'm still working on
chat weighing in on this, which I think is cool. Like, whatever combination, if there was something relevant, something happened, which I think is this is Redna, dude. I'm amazed you're not like jumping out of your chair on this because they've missed these opportunities to have interactions between characters. It looks like they're putting some more thought into. I'm okay with shorter if there's better quality in the story.
I didn't see any of that.
Okay.
But maybe it's just because it's been so long since I've played, and I haven't played all those classes so much to have been able to remember all of that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
If
so
it's been a while.
I don't remember feeling like, oh my God, they brought back blah blah blah. Maybe there was, and I noticed it and kept going, but not to diss anybody.
I played light side and dark side operative, and they didn't really see, and I didn't really see anything because I played them very differently. The way I played the operatives were vastly different. Words are hard. And I didn't see any like of those connections from the past. I didn't see anything like that. It was just all Loyalist or SWTOR. But it was the bounty hunter that I seen significant things. The Sork was like minor references that was like Sith versus Jedi thing. Like they recognize things like, oh hey, like any Force user, when they encounter a character, they're like, oh, I encountered you earlier, because they recognize their Force signature. So like that was not class specific, that was Force sensitive specific. Like I noticed that, but mostly it was my bounty hunter where I noticed a lot of things. That was just the one like major thing, but there were multiple things that my bounty hunter commented on. And had I not played the story, if I would have made a token character and not played the story, I would have never known. But because I played the story and remembered it, I caught things. I'm like, yo, hey, that's the story. I like that. But I didn't get any of that with my operatives at all, and just barely any with my Sork. That's my take on it.
Any other things you want to say about story?
Nothing else I can say.
It's tough because we can't spoil. Yeah, so
can I just
we will have a spoiler episode a month from now.
There's a bit of a to-do about the romance folks not doing anything if you took the original base romances, that the only people that get any additional interaction is Theron and I assume Lana. I've never romanced Lana, so I don't know. But I'm
actually, I believe that I was seeing in the forums that that was actually a bug, and they were supposed to, that they have now fixed, that those romance.
Well,
there's a kissy scene with Theron.
There were people that weren't getting the romance conversations that were in the game.
So if you blasted through it with 6 different characters, then you've lost that.
And you may have missed out.
I got the scene, but because I romanced Theron. But I was hearing people complaining if they romanced,
Other people.
like Andromeda,
Oh yeah, Neff brings up a good point.
yeah,
Neff brings up a good point that Lana interacts with the Jedi in there. No matter which side you pick, Lana interacts with the Jedi, but when you pick like to be on the Republic, whether you're originally Imperial or not, she kind of like messes with the person a bit and does some different things. That's actually pretty funny. Seeing Lana do something different other
She
than
trolls
her
a bit,
staunch-
yeah.
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 That was
I thought that was
really
interesting. Like
enjoyed that.
Lana
I thought it was
trolling.
funny.
That to me, because to me, I've complained about this before, and I've been in the.
That's more Sith-like to me, because that's how
Yeah.
I roll.
Because to me,
Like,
Lana is such a business character. There's no hook that makes me want to romance her, so I never have. But people are like, well, if you get to romance her, she kind of opens up a bit, and you get, through that practical shell of hers.
Right. But if you don't have any personality beforehand, what
Exactly.
interests me enough to romance you?
Exactly. That's my thing
because
as well.
the story. Seriously.
But
There's
this
no
is
way I
fun.
was interested in Kira Carson, but I wanted the story. All right. Like,
Yeah.
and let's be honest, whoever decided that Kim Ball was a viable romance option clearly was high. They smoked.
Yeah, it's the same person
You know what?
that said that Arkin was a good romance.
I would
option.
like to
It's
state
I'm
for the
going to eat you.
record.
Ooh, I want to do you.
I would like to state for the record that we here at the council
Terrible.
don't judge.
I did the cutscene just because I did the cutscene and then like hit escape so fast because I just wanted to see it. I was like, oh,
Hey, we don't.
This is wrong.
If Camvel
Oh,
is your thing, listeners and viewers, we don't judge.
Kimbo is
To be
so not
fair,
big. I'm
that's
judging.
the
I am
romance.
judging. He can't speak for the whole council. This is judgment. If you can't see my face, I'm telling you, this face is all judgment right now. That is wrong. That is nasty.
And I,
He's
I
like-
will
awesome.
tell you that
Don't
romance
kiss
seems
that. It
more
doesn't have
appealing
lips.
than Theron.
His breath smells like the blood of his enemies.
Or perhaps your own foot.
You might as well go make out with a vampire then. At least they have lips, okay? That does not have
it's
lips.
like making
that
out with
has
a bulldog.
needle teeth.
Goodness
No.
me. All right, so let's talk about environments. What did you guys think of Onderon, the layout, the way it looked, how they made things, and then also about Mek-Sha? What are your
This
thoughts
was
on
my favorite part of the expansion.
Yeah, I
the
love
environments?
Yeah.
The planets are awesome.
Okay, so what is it that you liked about them?
I liked the different, although to me they were different, but I have read other content creators who felt that they noticed a lot more recycled stuff than I did. Maybe I was just dazzled by the plants because that's
Oh no,
like
there was definitely
plants?
some things there, but
yeah, but I really enjoyed. As you guys know, I really don't like the industrial, like utilitarian kind of look that a lot of that ships, a lot of the armor sets, like just decos or like freaking batteries on the wall. Ew. Vents and crap. Like I'm gonna spend 1,000 cartel coins. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, and industrial
I'm not gonna
stuff,
go down.
yeah.
I'm not gonna go down that path. Anyway, but there was a lot of plants and jungle areas and glow in the dark mushrooms and like hanging like vines that had glow in the dark flowers on them.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the light beams and the
Yes. It's
in the
in my
holes
notes, yes.
in the cave, like whatever.
I did.
And,
Like the way they do caves now is you guys remember in the core
I love the
story,
cave.
every cave had the same stinking shape. Every
Yeah.
single it was like curved over to the left and there was that risen. Now they don't do that anymore. Like the caves are unique the way that they kind of move through, the interconnect areas.
well,
There's
I
holes
mean,
and the light shines through, which I absolutely
but to
love.
be fair, it's because it's supposed to match the terrain of the planet. The other caves that they made, there wasn't terrain in mind. It was just this isn't a rock, so they just
Right.
made it all the same because for whatever reason they did. But
Right.
now they're trying to make it match the terrain of the planet. So like if it's got glowing fungus everywhere, then they gotta have like the leeches and stuff like that. Like they've got to have things
Right.
in there that match it. Whatever.
And you know
Yeah.
what I really liked about Mek-Sha, at least it gets back into the realm that you don't like, right? Which is all just metal, right? Everything's just metal.
yeah, but I liked it better
it
than
felt
Ashada,
cramped.
personally.
It felt
I
cramped.
liked
It was like
better than Ashada.
really, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Well,
It
that's
Really, I love
was
Narshada.
it was
That actually
different.
might be one of my favorite planets.
Yeah, I
Mek-Sha.
don't.
What
The
I liked
reason
about
why
it-
it was better, the reason why it was better than Nar Shaddaa is because the characters were different. It wasn't like the same gangs over and over again repeated. It was
Right.
different things. It was a different
Although
story.
Nova Blades came back again. We had Nova
Well,
Blades
yeah,
anymore.
but that was just like more like an honorable mention. That wasn't like it was like what if you space barred, it was 30 seconds that you were in there. I mean, it was minor at all. But I'm saying that it was better because it wasn't like yeah there was recycled elements of course like there's not going to be anything in this game that they don't recycle if they can do it but I would say it was different because the people were unique. There was different story. There was a reason why they were there, not just because they're in the gang. Like there's a reason why these people rose power. They have a story behind it, and
Yeah, they actually
you can
built-
influence if they keep the power or
They
not.
built the local lore of that locale, which I liked. There was exactly. It was a reason everybody was there, and this kind of gets a little bit into story as well. But you know, and then they each had their territories, their areas, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, no, I loved how Mek-Sha just felt so cramped. It was like all of the hallways. You're like, you know, usually used to having like this wide open area that you can run through, but it gave me the feeling, yeah, this is a hollowed out asteroid, and room is kind of at a premium here. You know, there's a lot of people living in this little spot, so they all do what they can, and then because there's so many people, then you get a lot of the junk and the refuse and you know there's like the trash that they really can't get rid of, so it kind of piles up on them. I loved how
Honestly,
all of that.
your scavenging should be lit.
Yes, yeah, and so I didn't play a scavenger character through there, but I imagine it probably would have been interesting. You know?
Seemed like every tune I rolled was biochem because I do reusables for reading.
Right,
So
absolutely.
I
can
really
tell.
liked too on Mek-Sha that when you were outside, it was dark and it felt like you were outside. On Nar Shaddaa, it never seems to get dark enough, even when you're outside, to feel like you're outside.
It's because the whole
And-
place. It's like being in Las Vegas, right? Like
Sure.
Like-
Yeah, it's 'cause it's got
but
all the freaking fluorescence. And
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah. So for
It's
me,
a
red
I
light
really
district.
enjoyed that
It's fundamentally
kind of.
different.
Yeah, I just enjoyed that kind of feel. I really
Which I
like
can appreciate, and that's actually the only reason why I like Nar Shaddaa as much as I did. This goes back to freaking Legends story material in books. It just matched so much what I was expecting that I got true delight out of that. But I do agree with you. And that's why I love this. The premise of Mek-Sha before we even got to see it was this whole hollowed out, you know, asteroid style thing.
a refueling station.
If they hadn't had it open to space, like I would have been irate, but they actually handled it really well, and that darkness was very appropriate.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? I really enjoyed the space kind of Egyptian
The Onderon, yeah, absolutely.
for Onderon. The armor sets are cool looking.
Yeah.
The
Ooh.
set pieces are cool.
If we're
the
talking about
decos are
environments, have you
cool,
guys
like-
have you guys seen any of the Datacron jump stuff that you have to do for the Datacrons?
We
on
did
Onderon?
Mek-Sha.
Yes, I watched.
There's
July.
there's this whole Indiana Jones one that you have to like know
Yep.
which thing to jump on.
Yep.
I mean, it's just amazing.
And
I
it's
just,
personally
think that's
instanced. You can't
awesome.
go in with other people. We were going to do that one, but you couldn't go in as
Yeah.
a group. And we would have, Kidley would have had to gone in with every person individually to do it. It would have just taken too long, so
Yeah.
we didn't do that one. But the Mek-Sha one too, so Renda probably heard me griping. I had totally had frickin' Taken King, Raid, like flashbacks from Destiny 1 with the jumping spaceships. I was like, nope, not doing it. Yeah, you guys can just like summon me over there because if I have to jump on that thing, I'm not doing it. So I don't want to spoil anymore. But I like the fact that they actually got inventive and did something completely different than go jump on that pipe. And the jumping mechanics in this game is whack, so I never can like land correctly on the stupid pipe.
There was one part where even Kid Lee, it was like an hour he was working to get onto that
That's
one
what he
little
said.
pillar.
That's what he said.
And I was watching that whole time, like he still hasn't done. I could not believe his ability to not get upset. He's got, wind around, jump, Wind around, wind around,
Because
wind
it's all
around.
for the
No.
content. If that camera
Over
wasn't going, he'd
and
probably
Absolutely,
be like,
like
"Oh,
raging.
stupid piece of
And there was even
shit."
a guy. There was the guy that was there. He's like, you're playing a guardian. We could group up. You could force shove me over there, and then you could jump
Nope.
over to me. And he was just stubborn. He's like, nope, gonna do it. Gonna do it. He just kept going.
Well,
And he's like,
because you don't
and
get
he's
bragging
telling-
rights
and
if you cheat.
he was so
though.
cool too. He's just like, yeah. So you see, chat. The reason that this is difficult is because what I have to do is teach myself to jump later. But your reflexes are what they are, and forcing yourself to jump later when you see the cliff edge there, I can't seem to be doing it. And half an hour later, I still can't get myself to quite jump late enough. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, so watch the guides, do the Indiana Jones one. The other thing that is cool that's kind of in this, but not exactly, how many people did not realize you could climb the ladder?
I was
I
going to point that out.
totally
The
saw
ladder, the fact that you
I
actually
did it on
climbed
PTS, so I knew.
That's
Yeah,
a
but
whole
there's
new
so many
graphic
people
thing.
are like, how am I supposed to? Mox, I think, put a thing up on Twitter. How am I supposed to get to that thing? I was like,
Climb
oh,
the
do you have to
ladder.
climb the ladder?
You don't climb ladders in this game. You click things. They shoot
do
you
now.
up there.
I know, not you do in this one. So,
Because they've trained you
I
for
like
so
that.
long
That's
that
a
you don't
little
climb
flavor.
ladders.
It's true. It's not something that's intuitive because of everything else you played in the game, but I like that they've added it into the game now. It's just a small little flavor thing that it works.
No, I take that back. On the Umbara flashpoint, you're climbing ladders on the train.
oh, that is true.
So
I
yeah,
forgot about that.
I want to be fair, but yeah, you don't do it very often.
Oh, you're
That's
You
why
right,
do?
you do.
Okay,
I
but
thought
wait,
you
but
shot
you
out
don't-
I
you
thought
don't
shot
climb.
out. I thought you
don't
shot
climb.
out the gun thing.
do.
And got
What it
got-
does is you click on the ladder and it like fades to black and then you're on top of the train.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
right.
not climbing.
It's a
you're on-
transition. You don't
but on
actually.
Onderon, you're actually grabbing the
Climbing the
rungs.
ladder.
Yeah.
they actually animated it, which I wish they would do with all the speeders. The way that you like, hey, speeder, yeah, and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna see some scenery, and then it fades to black, and you're like, ah, I hate that. They started doing that, I think, on Rishi first.
Yeah, but
now
they
you've
don't
got
do
me.
it on Fleet. So if you want to get that back, go fly around on the speeder on Fleet. Okay,
so
moving
here's-
on. Music.
Here's my new I wish moment, because you've totally given this to me. Because you said speeder and you're talking about traveling around. I'm thinking the one that I ride around, like mounts,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
I want, if it's a mechanical mount, that I hit a button and it comes up and I climb onto it. And if it's an animal, I blow a whistle and it runs up and I climb onto it. Like, I need a little bit more from my mounts now.
Hey, that's cool.
So you're saying you're high maintenance. Got it.
I'm fine with that.
Hey,
How much money have I spent on this game?
if Diablo 4 can do it, they can do it in SWTOR, right? Is that?
Oh, don't even.
I don't know. I haven't
I know,
watched any
I-
of it.
9 minutes.
Don't get into
cinematic.
Blizzard.
That was
Don't-
amazing.
Yeah.
So
So okay, music. Does anybody care to discuss music, or is this something that really appealed to me?
I did not like it.
fair.
I love it.
I
Straight
love
up
it
one
I'll
too.
hundred
just I'll
percent.
just say this. It did not appeal to me. And I hated the original like the picture that they brought up, and then I heard the music. So maybe I hate the music because I hated the picture. It looked like a cartoon or something. So I was just
Ooh, someone else hates the picture.
I hate
Wow,
the
I was
picture
gonna actually
so
say,
much.
because no joke, before we sat down together tonight, because I know that we've got Sakari coming, but I actually was gonna come on and say I really love that the splash screen it looks so vibrant and awesome, and I love the music. Yeah, straight up. Like,
So I love the music too.
I love the new feel and look and everything.
Yeah.
And just like sitting down and loading in the
It's-
first
it's-
day.
it's
it was
Star
like,
Wars-y.
Oh, I missed. This is my game. It was good.
It's Star Warsy. It's I mean, like it really does feel like Star Wars music. You know what I'm saying?
And I
And-
liked the
I
brass
can't
too. Like
tell
they put
because
the
I
pulled
was
the brass.
already mad.
yes,
It
and
it could be good. I'll try listening to it
there'll be
again without
places-
singing it.
there'll be places you go, and I hear like the lead is a trumpet, and I'm just like, that is so cool. It's just like they used. I agree, Redno, about the use of brass all throughout. I remember stepping into a cave and the music changed to something that was a little bit more, like it actually they're plugging the music into the environments in ways that are actually noticeable to me, which I think is really cool.
Well, and okay, so if we really want to geek it out, part of the reason that I liked so much that they actually did Brass Forward is because they're returning to more of a Republic Empire conflict as opposed to Magic Force users. And so going to that, that's more of a military fanfare feel. So it actually
How
tied
cool is
into
this?
what this expansion was meant to be about, at least for me.
Yeah.
But I am really geeky on my music.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so I know, like, the problem about being geeky about music is that it's a smaller people that actually have an appreciation. I think not everybody cares to notice it or to analyze it. So, Red Knight, I totally am.
Basically, what we're saying is we're band nerds.
Right, exactly. So, can I get into my? I promised everybody I would make this quick about the key art and Magic. Maybe this is the splash screen that Magic apparently hates too.
Yeah, so I look at it and all I can think of is it looks like a cheap cartoon, like in comparison to the other ones. Let me pull up the other ones real quick. Hold on.
No, okay, so so I can actually show these. I have slides for them.
Yeah. Okay, so in comparison to the other ones, like the other ones look like they have grit to them. Like it's so like the Old Republic one, the original one, where it has Malgus and Satele and the Jedi Knight in front. And then it has Shea Vizsla on it. That one looks like an inspiration. Like, this is a new beginning. This is a story you've not really seen before. We're bringing it to you live. Like Coruscant's, or I mean, Coruscant or Tython. I guess it's Coruscant. Coruscant is like on fire, you know, like because the Sith sacked the temple and everything. Like it's leading you from the Deceived novel into this game.
Right.
And so like there's like, look at Satele, the way she's like animated, it's like you can see each little hair and it looks, like you can see each little hair. It looks, detailed. Like it looks like they took effort, like time and effort, like painstaking effort to make this look gritty and serious. That's the word I'm looking for, serious. And then when you have the Rise of the Hutt Cartel one, not quite as serious, but still there's gritty. You can tell that there's a big conflict. There's fire on the screen. There's a big hut in the background.
The Rise of the Hutt Cartel is actually my least favorite one.
Well, I mean, it's
if
not
we're
quite
gonna be raking.
Yeah,
I think I can agree with that.
I think it's actually the color palette less than the artistic style, though.
Yeah.
I think the artistic style of the way they animated the female on there, I don't really like that. She looks almost a little too flippant, whereas the other guy looks very serious, and so I don't really love that. But I'm saying, like, the style is still in line with the drama, like there's stuff going on, but the style of animation is clean, like a clear, detail oriented. Like it looks like they care. I look at the Shadow of Revan one, and it looks like they care a little less. Like, but the way they did Lana and that always looked terrible. So I'll give them that. Like, they messed up on Lana. If you look at the rest of the art, there's very clearly a bad guy. In each of these arts, there's a bad guy in the background.
Thank you.
The guys are up front.
Thank you for saying that, Elise.
Yeah,
this is the point I was making earlier to you.
The ships are in the background. You've got your main protagonists up front, and they're ready to, go to war. And then you get to the next one where it introduced Ossus, and it's kind of similar, but there's nobody in the center. Like it leaves you to guess who the center is. You've got the people on the outside. You've got.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on.
You've got blonde Sakari in the center.
It shows you a clear divide between the Republic and the Sith.
We're talking about this one.
So the
current splash screen has got blonde Sakari smack dab in the center.
You say that's blonde Sakari.
I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, Sakari got.
If I was a Jedi.
About Onslaught, I'm talking about Ossus. The one with Ossus where you first run into.
Okay.
He doesn't show in that.
Okay.
I'm talking about where it shows Malgus in the background. Yes, that one. Malgus is in the background. There's a clear divide showing you that they're going back to Empire versus Republic. There's a clear story there. The art goes back to the kind of grittier, more detailed, like they're paying attention, like they care about it sign. And then like it doesn't show you in the middle. And the reason why I like that is because if you're an imperialist or a loyalist or a saboteur, it's up to you. That's your story. And it changes because there's nobody in the center. There's not a protagonist in the center in front of the bad guy. Now, you get to Onslaught, you're not on the screen at all. There's like just random crap all over the place. There's just people put in places. The art style isn't clean cut. It's not nice. It's in, like you said, the color palette, Redna, the color palette, it's like brown and then blue. There's not a clear distinction of what's going on. There's 2 Jedi in front, no, 3 Jedi, and then there's a Sith and then some troopers. Where are you at? Where are your people at? What, there's like, it doesn't look like a clear story.
I haven't seen
there's
us
no story
or our people since the original. We have
Yes.
not been on the front.
But your team, the people you work with, has up to that point been like right up front. In this,
so you're saying that
just
these
Jedi.
people, the blonde
It's just
Sakari and whatnot, they don't join your team for the storytelling?
not for me. My characters don't want these people. My characters aren't interested in them. They don't care. They would rather kill them.
Oh, because
So-
you mean as an Imperial.
Yeah.
What about
so,
the Twi'lek and the trooper on the left, or Malgus?
And they're in the
Are they-
back like they're an afterthought. The whole front part is like, hey, Republic again, just like in the very first one, like, hey, here's our Jedi Knight, take our story because it matters the most. And I'm like, it hasn't been like that since the original one. And the way they animated the female in front this time does not look how she looks in the game. It looks like it was done very quickly. There's no grit to it. There's no.
The one thing I was going to say, actually, I will
organization
agree
to it.
with you in that regard, because in the previous, for the what was it? What was before the?
Yeah, she doesn't look like she does in Ossus. For the one
Yeah,
for
the
Ossus.
Ossus splash, I like her better.
Yes.
She's grittier. She's more determined, and there's actually more detail on her hair and everything. And then you look at this one, and it looks like she's got a freaking Kardashian contouring on her face.
Yeah, I don't.
It's ridiculous.
They made her look a lot different. So that's why I hate this art, because there's not a clear distinction. It's chaotic. There's no coordination. The colors are ugly. The animation style looks rushed, like they didn't pay attention, like there's no detail, like they didn't care. The other ones, it looks like they care about the details. This is just like, throw something here and throw something else there, and ta-da, here's our new art. And I'm just like,
Okay, so I want to hear Sakari's side of this.
Yes, please.
So, okay, while you were talking, I was showing the different pictures as well. So, for me, it's actually more of a composition thing. But I think some of the composition magic informs what you were saying about things, right? So I'm just going to start on the SWTOR ones here. Like key art in SWTOR. There's some principles, right, in art, in design of stuff, right? You want to have everything aligned around a central axis, a vertical axis. So here we have in this one, there's like the guy, he's the main thing, and then everything on the sides is pretty much balanced. So if you look at what's his name, Theron's dad, I forget his name, and Shea Vizsla, they're kind of the same size, and then you get
Malcolm.
Jace Malcolm, thank you. And then another thing about Star Wars art is that there should always be the splash art. It's in the covers too for the movies. The bad guy is always this dark, brooding kind of look. Here, let's look at some. You see this happening. That's a bad example. Phantom Menace. Here's one, right? You have Darth Maul's eyes in the back, kind of dark and brooding, and over. It's the shadow that lingers over. So you have that, right? Here again, kind of align everything along a vertical axis as the Rise of the Hutt Cartel look. They're kind of back to back in the middle, but it's balanced. You got some stuff happening on the right, some stuff happening on the left with some space in between. There's the dark brooding Hutt over the top. Shadow of Revan. There's Revan. He's the brooding. There's a symbolism to this is the threat when it's the big bad guy in the back. But this is actually my favorite of all of the splash arts. Yes, I agree that Lana's kind of looks a little weird, but I like that she's bigger than the rest of them. She's standing out in the front, so she's where your eye goes next, and then down the line, down the characters. But there's some symmetry to this, even in symmetry.
I think Revan might be my favorite one, and there is also something to mention regarding that, which is that with the flashpoints that have been released and the story elements that have been released leading into Revan, we'd already become familiar with Lana and Theron.
Yes.
And so these were not new characters for us. And so it was very telling. We didn't need to get to know them. We already had, along with some legacy characters in the back, particularly Satil Shannon.
So I mean, no better symmetry. I mean, you look at the one that was the splash page right before this. You got Malgus as the dark, brooding over figure, and then you've got, like the Empire, and I agree with you, Red. Now, like you've got the Republic and the Empire. It's showing that there's a split. We're getting back to the basics on that, compared to what we have now, where everything is all over the page. That's my issue with this one. It's so decentralized. Yeah, but if you think about it, there is no central axis that everything is aligned along. So it's kind of like everything, but so there may actually be.
It bothers me on a fundamental level.
There may actually be some genius to this, though. And that's that maybe, and here's what I'm hoping that it is that it's genius and not incompetence, right? Sorry to whoever did the art if you're watching this. We really do appreciate what you guys do. But maybe what it means is there is chaos. Everything has hit the fan, right? Like you've got, things are going in different directions. There were cliffhangers throughout the story that spun off different storylines. And I'm like, is this going to be one story going forward, or is it 2 or 3 different story arcs that are going to happen over the next coming months? And maybe that's kind of
more faith than I do.
Maybe that's what this kind of alludes to. So I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. And to me, it's just something about this. It just felt like it was hastily photoshopped together. Is kind of my. I just kind of felt like it was. I know you got chat saying, "Well, it's not that big a deal," and it's true. It isn't that big a deal. But this is what you look at. This is what you look at when you log in.
I was about to say,
it represents.
It may not matter to you, but for people who are there for things like cinematics, it matters. And you're like, oh, well, I play the story, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, maybe your taste is different. But for people who, like Redna said, when you log in, you're like, this is my game. Some of us care about this crap. Like, yeah, to you, it's minor, it's crap. Okay, good for you that it doesn't matter. I bet you there's lots of things in this game that you are so like hooked on that I could care less about. But all of our opinions matter. So while you think it's minor, some of us are like, yo, this isn't minor. Like, this manages my attitude when I log in. I look at that screen, I go, ew, how much longer do I have to look at this? When is the next arc?
Load faster.
Yes, that's me. I have an SSD and I'm like, let's speed it up, please.
I would actually like to interject just for a moment, because what I've heard is a detailed list over and over and over again of a cookie cutter format that's been overused, and you're pissed because it doesn't fit the cookie cutter any longer. I actually really like it.
I don't think magic. I don't think that describes magic, but that certainly describes me.
It's still split left to right. You've got the ground. I like the fact that you've got ground forces on the bottom. You've got space forces on the right, bottom left, top right. You've got evil forces top left. Good forces, bottom right.
They tried. They
with
did
the
try.
Mix, right?
I think Blonde Sakari messed up the whole design.
What you've got instead is, rather than a dominant overshadowing center in the top, this is split into quadrants, and each of those quadrants actually speaks to something. I like the artwork. I understand that realistically you don't like the format, and that's okay, because you are justified in having your opinion, and it doesn't mean that you're not wrong for you. But I will say, other than my one complaint, I actually like the previous screen better for the green wielding, like, I don't know her name, so sorry. But I like her
Some
better.
things I do know. I don't know everything, but that I know.
Yeah, I like her depiction better on the previous one. But, that's just the face. Otherwise, like, I actually like the layout. And I really was. I'm not, like, as much as I was making fun of it, I actually really was tickled. Like, every time I load in, I get a certain delight thinking of that blonde guy as Sakari. And the best part is, Sakari's the Emperor, right? And he's darker haired and everything. And so on this load screen, this is the good version of Sakari.
I may have to roll a character that.
I was a little bit disappointed that he's more meek than he was. I was like, or like that he's more meek than I was.
So I haven't played anything on the pub side.
I haven't played the story, so I don't know.
I'm not telling you what he did. I'm just saying he was a bit meek for my taste, okay?
Hopefully that we'll have by next.
Which is fine.
We don't
because then that would actually, I'm okay with that. If you've got Emperor Sakari, And then you've got milk toasted curry. I'm okay with that. Like they are the opposites.
Elise, do you have anything to throw in on this while we're going we're
No.
waxing
Sorry,
artistic?
no. I'm one of those people who don't give a crap.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
fair enough.
But
Hey, this is great.
I really
Every
put it out
position
there.
is represented.
Let's go, but I really don't care.
So-
And this is the most art conversation I've ever had. But I do agree with Elise. I think we actually need to get into the crafting. So could you at least
all
get
right.
into the rage involved around that?
Yeah,
It's
so
ridiculous.
gathering skills,
Ridiculous.
crafting skills.
What?
Gathering skills, crafting skills.
I gotta be honest with you.
etc.
I can't remember. So you have to pay 500,000 credits to be able to
Yes, you do.
have the ability to train from 600 to 700.
500K it costs to unlock
Oh,
that.
you actually have to pay to unlock
Per
again?
character, per skill,
Okay.
Exactly, per character. Per
which
skill.
is
Ridiculous.
absolutely exorbitant in my opinion.
It is
Oh
ridiculous.
my goodness. 500K.
The prices, I think I can't remember what player that is, but that does the Theron Sean account. But he had a bit of a rant about it this weekend on Twitter, about the new augments and all that stuff and how ridiculously
Crafting mats.
expensive they are.
Crafting mat storage. A good thing. I suppose we can thumbs up
Yeah,
that.
I mean that was genius. It
Universally
cleared
agreed,
out
yeah.
the entire
Although
tab.
the downside to it is if you direct your companion to gather, you never get a report of what they picked up. It just automatically adds it to that stash. So you don't really know, you don't really know what you're gathering. Unless you ask them, with the exception of slicing, obviously gives you a pack that you have to open.
That is just crazy. The prices for the new augments and all that stuff on the GTN is ridiculous. Like, most of them are more than what I have. So I don't care. Like I got into a discussion about this on Twitter, with a couple of people who are raiders. And, I mean, I guess people who have money, it's a,
Not a big
raiding
deal.
people will do what they have to do, I guess, to get it. And so they're just kind of like, eh. But if you fall anywhere outside of that, you're going to make a decision of either A, I'm going to do without, which will be me. Except for I will pay, but I only have one crafting
My completionism is
one-
going to
character I'm
screw me
playing
over
only
here.
has
crafting
500,000
tune,
credits.
and so I'm kind of like 500,000 credits is a crap ton, but I only have
It's a lot.
one character.
Especially
it's
we're all carrying
1.5.
Three things.
Exactly.
So that's 1.5 million per character that you play. That's
Yeah, so I
Over
can't
the top.
remember if the gathering, but I would guess that everybody has. Yeah, I think probably everything. I don't remember. So if you have to pay 500,000 for the gathering skills too, but my guess would be you do. It's just to be able to level. And I don't know if you have to pay if they have like the schematics, for like, say for the crystals or whatever. I haven't done it yet, but I don't know if you have to pay for each one of those too that you're training. So that would be a huge money sink.
Yeah, and
I
then,
get
then
that
there's
they're trying to
schematics
do
after that.
Yeah,
They
so
should have
I
made
get
it.
they're
Make them
trying to do that, but
make them a-
God, why do you gotta punish people who just want to make some freaking die packs? Like, I mean, seriously. So, and that's the only thing
Agreed.
I do.
This is
I-
the
I would
first time
say-
I will not craft.
So yeah, and because there's people who are tapping out of crafting, the cost of crafted augments or whatever are going out the roof on GTN because there's not as many.
Oh, you take slicing. My goodness, I'm running around with slicing, picking up every node I can, and I'm like, ooh, open the slicing box. Ooh, here's 1,200 credits, plus all 3 levels of Jawa junk. All
Yep.
3 levels and
The
in
Jawa junk, yeah, they're
exorbitant.
giving you a bunch, but you have to spend insane amounts to get anything. So it's not worth it.
Yeah. Okay. So
I can
I was
actually
just like,
spend stuff on it.
I was
I've got,
so
like, thousands
amazed.
of every grade of Java.
Well, yeah, you're gonna need it because holy freaking crap.
Yeah, the cost of crafting stuff is just the amount of mats that you have to use has
Yeah.
gone up too.
So
they're
they've already
trying to reset the economy. I just
Crafting-
don't know if I agree with it this way.
crafting was already breathing its last, right? It was on its deathbed already, and I think this is going to be the death blow. Like if you can't acquire crafting mats by buying them off the market, right? You have to go out and do it on your own. That makes it prohibitive because not everybody wants to do that, so people are not going to craft at all, and this is going to You might as well remove crafting from this game. I think if you continue this, they've got to make
I
some
mean,
adjustments here.
You should see the two new, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the two new die packs are like the blue and red one, and then is it the dark blue and gray one? I think. Am I missing one?
How about some attractive die packs? That'd be great too.
But
Goodness me.
I like the blue and gray one, but you should see the prices on those in the market. They're crazy,
Yeah, but
multi-million.
that's because they're brand new.
Right.
Until everybody can craft them, and then it's going to be dirt cheap.
I hope that's true.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what to. I don't know what to think of crafting in this game right now. Salty about it.
Yeah.
So okay, we are about getting to time. So can we call the conversation right here? I imagine what we can do is roll over gearing, which I know is a topic entirely on its own. 6.0 gearing. Now that we've dipped our toe in the water, over to next week. Can we do that? Plus any other review items that we want to add to the list? Well, not next week, the week after.
We still need to talk combat. We need to talk about the new operations with magic. There's a lot of
I was gonna say like gear and operation is specifically what I want to talk about next week, so I'm down with that.
Awesome. The next episode.
In 2 weeks, right?
Yes, 2 weeks. I want to make sure that we're not miscommunicating, but that's fine. All right, so let's jump into announcements real quick. Honestly, there's really not much to say. They've been working on bugs, issues, kind of
put the bugs
lately.
in announcements.
Oh, wait. I forgot. Just as a quick, I didn't put it in the announcements, but just again, Extra Life Day was Saturday. I know we broke 1,000. I'm not sure how much what the last count was that the Wookiee Alliance team. I think we hit 1,000, right? Or more than?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like.
Dude, Kid Lee broke 1,000 on his own, so I should hope he did. That's what I
thought. So,
good to hear.
Yeah. So we exceeded our goal, I believe, is what JT said while we were doing our thing. So
there's something to be said too. I mean, we should also put out there, just for people that aren't in the loop and following it and everything, Extra Life being this thing where we all do live streams in order to raise money for kids that are in the hospital with life-threatening illnesses or injuries or whatever. Extra Life this year, the website and the money donation site was DDoSed by outside sources.
Wow.
Like some horrible douchebags thought it would be a good idea to prevent people from charitably giving to help children. And this was the day of the formal day of. So anybody, if you are willing and you're listening and you want to contribute, if you wanted to go, to the Wookiee Alliance site or whatever, go to Extra Life and donate. It's fully tax deductible and whatever if you want that. But it is like they did suffer some because they weren't even able to get to people's personal pages to give donations and stuff for certain periods of time during the day. And the streamers, they've got overlays and things that they can incorporate into their streams in order to incentivize people to donate, and those weren't functioning. Like realistically, if you've got it in your heart and you've got the dollars to spend, it would be really nice if you could go out and help, because there are literally the lives of children are in your hands. I just want to put that out
there. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate you guys bringing that up with it. I mean, the only thing in SWTOR news is really that they've reset or that they've set the November events list. So Bounty Contract Week starting tomorrow, and then Pirate Incursion on the 19th. That's it. Other than that, they've been working on bugs and stuff. I'm going to try to see if I can get a link to the Wookiee Alliance page. We'll put it in our show notes. On the website, on the YouTube export of this. I know we can't do it right here in chat, but we'll make sure that goes out with the notes.
Can we also, just for a public service announcement, everybody make sure you check. Sakar, you did put it in here on the issues being fixed on the show notes, but I got an email actually today, I think, that about my sub being something happening with my sub again.
Really?
And I about freaked out on Twitter. Yeah, so they said supposedly I didn't get my cartel coin grant, and something about my sub had to be something done with it. So people, make sure you check and make sure everything's okay, and if not, hit up customer service if that's the case.
They've actually had the gamut of issues going on. I mean, Horde had some issues. The whole server, flagships were inaccessible, Onderon wasn't loading, and then Friday they were dealing with this issue. Cartel coins and sub purchases were not registering. And then before that, they had like an issue with people getting the HK chapter, and that wasn't showing up for people or whatever. They've been putting out fires all over the place.
Yeah.
And there are, the things that people pay for, that's what you want to fix first, because that's what's going to make them the maddest. So I get it. Spending more time on that than, for instance, the crafting nodes that are showing up in walls, which are. I guess that's the end of it, right? Over to you, Magic, for the thank yous.
Well, we would like to say thank you very much for hanging out with us and chatting and listening. Even if you don't necessarily like what we say, we appreciate it. We'd also like to say thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. We love making extra content for you. And pretty much we just love that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who participated in chat tonight. You helped make it a more lively discussion. And also to our haters on Reddit. Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of the episode. The council is adjourned. If you'd like to reach us, you can email us at thecouncil@thecouncilswotor.com. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor. You can find Elise on Twitter at abrown35, Magic Ace at the Magic Ace, myself at R3DN4, and Sakari at I am Sakari. Also, don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor, where patrons can catch the articles we're talking about behind the scenes and exclusive backstage access to our after show chat. That's it for this week. Let's see, no, that's it for us this week, guys. Jin, I'll be there for you. Cassian said I had to.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Forgive me, Master.